Hoops talk for the streets.
Didn't keep winning. And he didn't keep winning. Braun might want to come home again. You know what I mean? Keep on winning.
Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. Yo, let's just get into those buttons right now. Let's cut the bullshit and talk about these Lakers, man. This is what I'm talking about. Currently, 7th in the West right now, 500 record right now. A few team numbers that stood out to me looking at them. Bottom 10 offensive rating, but 11th in defensive rating. So that has improved since early in the season. First in pace per game, but 28th in the league in turnovers. Gonna talk about that. LeBron averaging 28, AD averaging 23, Russ averaging 19, Melo giving you 13 off the pine. A roller coaster season, I guess we will call it for the Lakers, and that might be a bit of an understatement with this team. I would say more underachieving, more so for me personally. LeBron told the streets to keep that same energy with the Lakers earlier in the season. So we are definitely going to keep that same energy for the entire Lakers team and LeBron James here on Above the Rim. Jarv, you my guy, so I'm coming to you first, brother. You've been pretty vocal about your distaste for some of the Lakers roster and what's been happening with the Lakers thus far. So answer this question for me so we can dive in. Or finish this statement for me so we can dive in. To you, the Lakers' biggest Achilles heel to this season has been what?
Like, there's so many to choose from, Josh. We might have to use both Achilles for this. But I think the biggest issue, or I'll say two issues, it's spacing, right? And the other issue is defense. There's not a want to. When I watch them play, like, they'll have spurts of defensive intensity that Vogel kind of inspires, and we've seen it in years past where they will go on defensive blitzes and make things happen. But I don't think we have the necessary personnel to do that over a sustained period of time. And I talk about spacing. You know who? Mr. Empty Calories himself. Like, I was not on board with the decision. I tried to talk myself into it, but in reality, it's not even personal. Like, I'm not mad at Westbrook. We'll get into that a little bit later. But when I look at the way that AD was there, the way the ball flowed, it's so difficult for AD to get a catch in the mid post or the low post. Because so many teams are sagging, not creating space, and not creating enough passing lanes for AD to flourish. And then LeBron James is being asked to do too much in year 19. Carmelo Anthony is being asked to do too much. And a lot of times, if you look at the Lakers, especially when they play good teams, how many buckets we get in scramble situations? We're not flowing. We're not running the offense. We're not getting clean looks over and over again. And teams are still doing what Phoenix did to us in the playoffs. They're daring us to shoot over their defense because we're not giving you the rim. You know what I mean? I don't think I should be depending on Malik Monk to hit threes like that. Granted, he's supposedly
who's been balling late
point shooter. He has been, but that's not why we brought him. You know what I mean? We didn't bring Carmelo in to average 13 a game. These are supposed to be supplementary parts. I saw people on the internet talking about Trevor Ariza being a savior. Like this, he didn't bring any of these guys to be.
Man.
The superstars were supposed to be the superstars. And the parts didn't fit the day they agreed to the trade. The parts don't fit. Spacing isn't there. Yeah, asking LeBron at year 19 to do too much, and it's going to bite us again.
A lot of things said right there. Before we unpack that, BTG, talk to me. The Lakers' biggest Achilles heel, in your opinion, this season has been what?
I feel the same way. It's defense. And I'm not in the huddle, but it's definitely our roles on offense. And but I'm going to give my guys some I gotta give them some it's an understanding why though. We have 3 alphas on the team. Technically we got 4, but one has humbled himself to come off the bench, and I can respect that. But we got 3 alphas, 3 in which at one point in their career they have all carried a team by themselves.
Yes.
They also have egos.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So as much as I see the slander on timeline against my guy, I can't say nothing about it. It's true. But what I'm not going to stand for is that it all goes on him. Because AD hasn't showed, he didn't even show up in his game weight.
Listen, he looking a little hefty this season. I've been saying for a couple of episodes.
Too heavy. How many times have we heard about him complaining about playing a 5? How many times have we yelled at the screen about him facing up instead of posting up? How many times have we seen Bron blow at his hand because we know he's about to shoot that 3-pointer?
Oh, man.
We've seen it.
You know, or hit the chest too, or one of those joints. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the thing is, with Russ, we already know what you get. That's strictly energy right there. None of them cats that I just said is playing defense. The best defender out of them three is probably AD at the rim. Everybody's going past Bron. We've seen Westbrook lay some cats to the bucket. We've seen that. The yesteryears is gone, bro. We got 2 league MVPs. AD should have had an MVP by now, but he's not playing like it. So the blame goes across all 3 alphas. But I will say this: it doesn't help when you turn the ball over 9 times. Right? It doesn't help. It doesn't help when you take an important shot, not just a shot, but an important shot in the third where we've been giving up leads. Going into the fourth, if we do go into the fourth with a lead, we know we giving that up, or we giving y'all a showtime with 2 minutes left, and we're going to blow that because of a bad shot or a turnover.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm putting that on AD and I'm putting that on Bron because y'all 2 won a championship together. You got to holler at the young killer and like, yo, we got this already.
Wait, who's the young killer? Russ?
As Westbrook. Yeah, you got to holler at him.
Well, who's to say they not hollering at him? Like what about Westbrook's career says he's reasonable?
I get that.
Said that he will listen to that also.
And again, I'm a cat that I will gracefully say, look, I'm not in the huddle, I'm not in the locker room, so I don't know what they saying to him. I can't even, when I go to the game, I can't even see them talking to him or whatever. But we all got common sense. We the one that eliminated our boy a couple of years ago in the bubble. So he already know what it is.
Well,
they won without
They used
him.
the game plan effective against Russell Westbrook to eliminate him, and they chose the same person to bring onto the roster.
We traded for him.
So
I'm not mad at the trade.
Yeah,
I'm more mad of them not figuring it out because I don't think it can't work, but it's not working right now, which means I don't know if it will work. I don't know if it will.
When we talk about that, right? So you guys both brought up great points on both sides, right? So when I hear both you guys say that, it seems to me, and I think also as well, this has a lot to do with the lack of on-court chemistry, which to me, I think is one of the Achilles heel of the Lakers this season. To me personally, I don't feel like these fellas worked hard enough in the off season, going into the season, to get a rhythm for one another, to really like feel out each other's game. I feel like right now they're trying to make up for lost time, and I feel like that's tough to do mid-season and the beginning of the season because these teams are hungry against the Lakers. They playing the Lakers every single night. You're gonna get every team's best shot.
Some of these teams already have rosters that's been together for a couple of years now. We got a whole new roster.
True, but the Bulls have a whole new roster too as well. But they put the work in the off season to learn. Remember, if you remember, you guys played no preseason games with this entire lineup.
Watch this though. Neither one of them is LeBron James and AD. All right, which means they have a role to play. Who? None of them is the Bulls. They have a role. Caruso went over there and played the same role.
I mean, they have a structure though. I mean, all teams should have structure. Why don't the Lakers have a structure? We didn't even have a structure when we didn't have Westbrook. We didn't figure that out to the playoffs. Jarvis, talk to me about the on-court chemistry. Have you been seeing a good on-court chemistry from the Lakers as a whole, or do you see there's any resistance or problems there?
No, I don't really see the chemistry because again, it goes back to, and I know want to say he's not to blame for everything. I want to be clear in that. I agree. He's not to blame, but it's like, in the words of Hov, was who he was before he got here. We knew what we were getting when we got Russell Westbrook. We knew what his deficiencies were. Your team took us out. You knew exactly what the Lakers' problem was. Bringing in Russell Westbrook corrected none of those issues. We
definitely didn't need to bring him in.
We needed spacers. Yeah. We didn't need what Russell Westbrook does best. It's not at all what we needed. When the Lakers were really good 2 seasons ago with AD and Braun, it was a 2-prong system. You know what I mean? We don't need a 3rd prong. We need elite level role players, or as you would say, stars in their role. Yeah. Right? You're asking Russell Westbrook to be something that the Lakers don't need. I'd rather see Russ be Russ elsewhere.
Wait, are they really asking him to do that though? Maybe that's the
Standing in
problem.
the
Are they
corner,
asking
so-
him to do that? I don't know.
The point, because the narrative was they brought him in because they knew both of them niggas wasn't durable. So
Nah,
they
it was to
figured
give
if
help,
one-
though.
so-
Remember, it was to give LeBron some extra added help. I feel.
I hear you.
That's what I'm talking about.
But
If one of the two goes down, they figure Westbrook fill in the gap and try to keep it afloat. But it's not working out.
That don't work when it comes to playing 5-man basketball when everyone is healthy. And LeBron is the biggest con artist on earth talking about he wants to take a step back. Everybody knows the ball is going to be in your hand, bro. So by bringing in Russell Westbrook, you're asking him to do things that he's not capable of doing, like stand in the corner and shoot threes. Russ don't cut off the ball like he used to in young days at OKC. Them legs ain't what they used to. Russ mid-range shot. Russ don't play off the catch. He don't come off curls and catch and shoot. He doesn't do any of these things that frees up the offense and then creates a vessel to Anthony Davis. He does none of these things. So again, it's like, it's not Russ's fault that he's not these things. He should have never been brought in the first place. When you had a chance to go get Buddy, a guy who could space the floor, could put the ball on the floor, do everything that I just talked about as far as playing off the catch, you go get that deal done because it makes sense for your superstars. But Kyle Lowry was available, go get him. DeMar DeRozan was available, go get him. You could still get the skill vets that you that you eventually brought in anyway, but it would have made more sense to roster construction, which is not being spoken about. We talk about chemistry and roster construction still matters. You look at all the good teams in the league, the parts fit. Our parts don't fit.
Yeah, so the main peg in that part that doesn't fit obviously is Russell Westbrook, because he's such a piece that he's not a piece that you can just plug in anywhere.